Hello, and thank you for watching this Sunday afternoon special weather update on Tropical Storm Beryl. As of sunrise this morning, we've been looking down at the storm spinning here southeast of Texas. There is Tropical Storm Beryl, and it has been struggling with dry air mixing into the storm for quite a few of the last hours here. Certainly this morning, sunrise revealing a system with not really that kind of closed, tight thunderstorm circulation around the eye that we were watching and waiting for. Some of the models, they had it strengthening up toward landfall as a concern, certainly for folks there along the Texas coastline. Just have not seen that yet as it continues to struggle with some dry air. Now, if you're just going to look at it visually, expecting landfall overnight tonight, perhaps after midnight near the Matagordo Bay area, kind of right between maybe Corpus Christi and Houston. And we have some time here to go at the last half of this day for it to get its act together, but increasingly as we go hour to hour to here, time is running out for this to occur. If we jump over and look at the infrared satellite, don't see a lot of these, towers wrapping around the center. Just not a tight closed circulation right now. Again, likely a product of some of that dry air mixing in. If we jump over and look at the National Hurricane Center forecast, can see there is a forecast here from the National Hurricane Center for this to strengthen to hurricane. So it's at a tropical storm right now. Could reach Category 1 status. Again, I think chances of that are lessening here a bit just as we go through the afternoon hours here, and it continues to kind of exhibit this struggling structure here. Nonetheless, there is a possibility we have more hours to go before landfall, and it's something that we'll have to keep an eye on. If we jump over and look at the HUR forecast here, this happens to be one of those models that's predicting that strengthening toward landfall. As I take this into the overnight hours here, you can see it increasingly get better structure and organization as it approaches the Texas coastline. But then you can also see, at least to the east and north side of the system there, all the rain that's now falling in Texas overnight into the early morning hours tomorrow, Monday, July 8th. Another product of this that we'll be keeping a close eye on is the severe storm potential. Now, often when we talk about maybe slight risks or enhanced risk for severe thunderstorms, you're thinking about, is there a wind, hail, tornado threat? Which one are we looking at? This is, and is often the case in tropical storms, primarily a tornado risk from the storms. We can see these weak spin up tornadoes. Some of these can be a little bit stronger as well. So watching the southeast Texas coastline as some of these feeder bands come on shore can be a focus for tornado development and some of these mini supercell structures as well. This is for tomorrow morning and into through the day tomorrow from the Storm Prediction Center. Again, a slight risk out for the Ark-La-Tex area, eastern Texas, western Louisiana, southwestern Arkansas. Again, primarily a tornado threat versus hail or wind. Another piece of this, of course, that you'd imagine with any landfalling system here in the U.S. is a rainfall component. And this is just the rainfall forecast total from the ECMWF, and can see quite a bit of rain forecast to fall through eastern Texas, an area that doesn't really need much more rain. Southeast Oklahoma, much of Arkansas, southeastern Missouri, and then ultimately, by Wednesday midweek, getting up into parts of the Ohio Valley, Illinois, even Indiana. Some of the areas and counties here are still dealing with some lingering dryness, so perhaps some welcomed rainfall here as the remnants of Beryl makes its way up into the Corn Belt here in the middle of July. If we jump over and look at the last USDA drought monitor, you can see some of these drier areas here in northern Arkansas, parts of eastern Oklahoma, and then the Ohio River Valley, getting some rainfall here potentially from Beryl as it makes its way up into the U.S. I'm taking this forecast out from the ECMWF a little bit further into next weekend, and you'll notice outside of Beryl and its track, not a lot of rainfall to go around for much of the eastern half of the United States. So for a number of these counties here, Beryl will be delivering, your rainfall allotment for this week, not seeing a tremendous amount of activity otherwise. Jumping down immediately toward the coastline of Texas here, we are seeing a storm surge forecast here of 3 to 5 feet for parts of southeastern Texas, perhaps near Matagordo Bay, and just to the northeast, looking at 4 to 6 feet potentially of storm surge. Also looking at flash flooding potential through much of southeastern and eastern Texas along the track and east of Beryl. That includes the greater Houston area. Rain already falling there now on one of these outer bands from Beryl. If we jump back and look and see one of these outermost bands here coming right through just off screen through the greater Houston area, and that's expected to continue in activity off and on as we go through the night tonight and then into tomorrow early Monday morning. See, this is the greatest flash flood risk over the next 3 days. Monday morning, immediately kind of along the southeast Texas coastline. Tuesday, extending further up into Texas and Arkansas, and then ultimately Wednesday, starting to push into the Ohio River Valley and parts of the middle Mississippi River Valley. As far as wind speeds upon landfall, again, kind of watching and waiting for the strengthening that hasn't yet come. It's possible that, within the hour or two after recording this, we'll start to see some more thunderstorms wrap around the center, get a better core organized, and that will allow it to strengthen a little bit toward landfall here as we get into the evening and then the overnight hours. But again, time is just running out. And every time I jump back, to this infrared satellite loop, I continue to see a lack of organized or sustained convection around the core. You can see a little bit of convection and initiation there around the center. It's just not sustained and has not allowed it to develop any further, at least right now. So still at a tropical storm strength. These are the tropical storm force wind speed probabilities. So you're talking sustained winds above 39 or 40 miles an hour. High chance of that certainly near Matagorda Bay and to the east. Not your most damaging wind speeds, though, certainly as a threshold. We could have gusts up to 55 and 60 miles an hour. So can't rule out some tree damage, potentially a few power outages here and there. If we bump this up to hurricane wind speed probability, much lesser of a chance here, and you can see that in the contours as well, where the kind of highest probability here is about 40%, and that's only immediate on the area of landfall here, and that will depend, that kind of 40 to 30% chance depends on that strengthening here over really the next 4 to 5 hours that we'll have to watch it here. So I think the good news here is we haven't seen the storm get as strong as I think it could have, and as some of the models organized. We'll have to watch it here over the next few days, but the threat likely pivoting more toward a flash flooding risk in parts of Texas, a rainfall conversation. Unfortunately for some areas in Texas that do not need more rain, but then potentially some rainfall up into the Ohio Valley where it could be welcomed. And then we'll have to watch the kind of associated tornado and severe weather threat in the immediate kind of Texas and eastern Texas, western Louisiana area as we go through Monday and then Tuesday as well. I'll leave it there for today. Stay safe and thank you for watching.